Well, one of our gCADPlus users has received a file from an architect in the form of a DWG and a DXF file, and she's been able to get the DXF file, and we've recommended that inserting a DXF file is best done by starting a brand new drawing as a template, going File and DXF Tools, DXF In, and we're going to bring in this DXF file called from NS. I'll just close the column up there, and you can see it's a very large DXF file, and hopefully I'll show you the reason for that in a moment. But if we try and open it now, gCADPlus aborts and shuts down and then restarts again, putting us back into a position where we can say no template. So clearly there's a problem. Well, what's the best way to work around that problem? We would suggest that you set up a folder, maybe on your C drive, and under that folder create an input folder. I've created a folder called NS and then NS input, and then under that same NS output folder. So you start the Tiga file converter, which is a free utility. You can install it in both the Mac environment and in the Windows environment, and I've placed the two input drawings in the input. The DXF that failed to load is now, along with the DWG that went with it, is now in the input folder. What we're going to do is to start it, and I'll say yes because I've rehearsed it before. One thing I forgot to mention was that I changed the output version of the DXF to version 2004 ASCII DXF. That's a text version. And we'll now swing to, in other words, that's a simple version. The version of AutoCAD that the drafter used, which might have been giving trouble, may well have been AutoCAD 2017 for all we know, and that may be a reason why it won't go into our gCADPlus. So what we're doing is taking the DXF file and dumbing it down just a little and see how we go from there. So we'll now swing back to gCADPlus, File DXF In, and from NS. Here's our file there, and there's another one there. So let's take the DXF that came from the DWG file, and we open it up, and there we are. We're in layout view here. Let's go to the model, and we'll zoom extents. Whoa! And immediately you can see lots of, we can call them interesting observations, but let me put the view to background color white, and way over here are a whole lot of entities. Let's just select one of them at random, and it's a piece of text way outside the, and not only that, it's a text with empty contents. Unselect all, jump in here, more text with which is empty. So I can unselect all. Let's get rid of that text because surely it can't be of any use. That one's actually a block called RMSDB, and they're all in a straight line through there. You might find it quite difficult to see these. Let's pick another one. It's another block. So I suspect that's come from some sort of survey package, and what we're interested in to get a base plan is here. So clearly if we select on this, what is yellow text, dear me, it's used a whole lot of AutoCAD cryptic commands to get just the right sort of text. It's a layer called Furniture New. So I think you can see, let's go into the blocks folder here and have a look at the blocks in there. Lots of blocks with nothing in them. If I scroll down the list now, here's a bracket end. Notice the delete is an option here. So I could pick delete there and delete all unused blocks. 117 blocks came across in this drawing that aren't even used to describe anything at all. So I'll close from there and I'll go File and Save As. I'll just put it on the desktop for the moment, and we'll just call it test, and we'll save it. I'll widen my command area a little bit, just type FS for file size. We're down to 1163 kilobytes, which is still quite large. So let's, although it's probably half the size of the previous one. So let's close it, and we'll open it again. And we need to go to the desktop. We've called it test. We'll open it again. Quite often when you go to the blocks folder here, there's still a lot of rubbish blocks here. We can delete again. Another 8 blocks have been removed. I suspect I could go on and on. Notice all these blocks there. They're floating around with nothing in them. It's not until we get down to, say, the title block that we actually find something which is meaningful. So I suspect an awful lot of this drawing consists of vacant, long lost blocks without proper base points and so on. So what have we got now for file size? We're 1170, which is still quite large. These yellow pieces of text bother me. Their colour is by layer, so the simplest way to deal with those, oh dear, when you look at this, can you see an enormous number of layers in here, most of them greyed out. So cleaning this drawing up is going to take, and a lot of layers are turned off as well. So there's lots and lots of work. To me, it's not surprising that gCADPlus objected when we were trying to bring in this sort of material. My feeling is that if I selected those parts of the drawing that I want, copy them to the clipboard, create a brand new drawing, paste them from the clipboard into this drawing and zoom extents, and then type FS for file size, I've got 117 kilobytes. That's as distinct from 1170. That's 10 times smaller than we had on the previous. So that perhaps gives us some clue as to how this drawing caused us so much grief. As far as using it as a backdrop for putting landscape plans in, it's a little difficult to interpret. I think that's, there's a crossover running through the top. Let me put this onto background colour white. Still just as bad. It's better with background colour at black. Let's have a look at the layers, and now we're really getting somewhere, and I'd be inclined to change these layer colours and make them all foreground. So I'll select them all, make the colour 7, and come up to here with the shift key, make that colour 7, and OK that. Now I've got something that I can indeed work with. So we've taken a drawing which was 7 megabytes, 7,000 kilobytes in DXF file, brought it down with a little bit of attention to blocks to 1 megabyte or 1,000 kilobytes, and then we're now to 117 kilobytes. You can think, I think you can see we have a very fast loading and very easy drawing now to work with. I'd be inclined to make that as a block, and just in case we need to go back through that process again and leave it as a block, and then put your landscape design on top of the block. Hopefully that shows you some of the problems you will grapple with when you accept drawings from foreign sources.